All right, man. So I just learned, well, I don't know what I'm talking about learning. I just saw a video that said Goku versus Peter Griffin is closer than you think. So let's see how close it really is.
Versus the power of a Rhode Islander. Can Peter Griffin beat Goku?
Is my mic even
As
on?
we'll come to see,
Yep.
Peter is surprisingly strong. For this video,
How strong, though?
only feats that Peter is actually shown will be used here. He's a cartoon character, so theoretically, he could just do whatever's funny. But we're going to only use things that he's been shown to do. So for this video, we're going to treat him like any other character.
Bet.
The feats he's actually shown will be the feats we actually base his power on. So even though he does have Toon Force to an extent, if he hasn't actually done something, we won't use it. With one exception, you'll see later what I mean.
Bet.
Keep that in mind because it's very important. This is the crux of the entire video's scale.
Oh my God, he's on the
And this
father son
includes any
Kamehameha.
feat. This will be a composite Peter, so any feat from any episode of the show or otherwise is on the table.
Friggity sweet is
Even if
crazy.
it's for a cutaway gag, we'll be using it. Equipment will be included too. I'll also do a lowball and a highball estimate. The one thing we won't use for his composite is Fortnite because that's one place where Goku and Peter can actually interact, but every item shop character skin is pretty much equal there outside of a few lore exceptions. And if we use the Peter Overworld boss, he technically has more health than Goku, and that's the one thing we won't include in this
Peter
discussion.
claps in. Peter
First,
claps.
we'll look at how strong composite Peter is and what he's capable of. Then, we'll find a comparable Goku for him to fight. Is it just an earlier Goku, like from the 23rd World Tournament? Or would it be current Goku? Or Xeno Goku even? Let's find out. In short, there are two guidelines. 1. We're only using feats Peter has actually shown and treating them as real feats. 2. It's a composite Peter, combining everything as if
everything
he were
that he does,
or at least
that he's ever done, is ever.
Family Guy is comprehensive in terms of the things that Peter's done. You might wonder why I'm making this video in the first place, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of the show. Even the more recent seasons that people don't like, I get some enjoyment out of them. If I do forget something here, let me know below, but I hope I'm not missing anything since that won't make me look like a true Family Guy
Peter
scholar.
Griffin claps all
Although
of fiction,
with the 22nd season just finishing, there are a lot of short cutaway gags and stuff to remember, so I'm sure I'll forget something on accident. Let's begin with destructive feats. To begin, Peter scales beyond every other Griffin in terms of power, and I know that sounds pretty insane to say. Like, it's a pretty weird baseline to use, but it's actually pretty important because they have their own feats that could upscale Peter.
Like
the
what?
one thing he doesn't share is intelligence. He's actually one of the dumber members of the family, but it would be pretty valuable if he had Stewie's level of intellect, for example. In terms of physical feats though, yeah, he scales above the rest of them. First, we'll look at Lois. She actually defeated 3 Kryptonians. You could hear him trying not to laugh here because I'm doing this like a normal power scaling
Well, yes, she
video,
did. I mean, those are Kryptonians.
It's hard to say all this with a straight face, so it sounds like I'm on the verge of laughing.
Goku can't beat Superman, so it's like the same thing, I guess.
Kryptonians on her own. These clearly are the characters from Superman 2. You can see Zod right here. This looks exactly like him. She defeats them with ease, and Peter scales above her. The powers in the show are relatively inconsistent, like there are points when Lois becomes freakishly strong, or like points when Meg beats up Peter, but for the most part, Peter's the strongest in the family. Again, we're using a composite version, and anything is on the table here. So even if he's weaker than Lois in one episode, we could use her feats from this episode to upscale Peter in another episode when he's above her, just as a quick example of what I mean. But on the higher end, you could put Lois up to planetary here, because this version of Superman actually pushed the moon, and the speed at which he pushed it required enough force to actually destroy a planet, if not more. It sounds weird that saying moving the moon means he's planet level, but you have to think about
Lois
it.
can blow up the planet, confirm, man.
The better feats come with durability. So if we want to scale Peter's attack power even higher, first we need to scale his durability. So he survived a lot of crazy things, like surviving a space shuttle falling from space into Earth, or in his fight with Homer, the two of them getting irradiated and then creating a nuclear explosion.
I remember
But there's one really great feat that he has. Season 14, episode 11, the Peanut Butter Kid. At the beginning of the episode, one of the subplots involves Peter using a metal detector. At one point, he puts 2 metal detectors together, and he ends up here. He either teleported outside of the universe, or he destroyed the universe.
Looked like he destroyed it, to be honest.
That he destroyed it. Again, he could have just teleported over there. Real Family Guyers know that this is exactly how the outer limits of the universe are represented in Family Guy. In another episode, Brian and Stewie travel outside of time, and Stewie says here there is no time or universe. They end up returning by essentially creating the Big Bang. And the rest of this episode confirms this. Stewie created the entire universe. By the way, Family Guy's reality encompasses multiple universes, as well as timelines. Stewie has established this before, so it is complex with infinite universes and infinite timelines. Again, we are trying to upscale Peter here too. So when Stewie recreates the universe, we could either assume that it was just his universe he created, or literally everything. When Peter gets to this same location, if he actually did destroy the universe, well, obviously that's a huge feat. Because if we highball Peter and assume he destroyed literally everything, that is infinite universes and infinite timelines. However, even if you want to argue he only teleported here, he still scales to this point because Brian and Stewie survived the Big Bang. Stewie's return pad generated enough energy to create the entire universe, and they were standing on it. So upscaling them and then upscaling Peter, that means Peter gets to this point too. So either Stewie or Brian upscale him, or we just assume he actually did blow up everything here with the metal detectors. So assuming Peter or Brian and Stewie actually took that amount of force here, That would give them universal durability at minimum, and that's only assuming they created the Big Bang for one universe.
Damn.
If Peter actually destroyed everything, or rather, Brian and Stewie created everything, that's the amount of force needed to create infinite complex universes and infinite timelines between them.
Okay.
Especially with the latter feat of
That's what
Peter
I'm saying,
destroying
make 'em,
everything, he'd actually be destroying all that at once and surviving it. So if you really want to wank him, he's high complex multiversal.
I don't want
But
to
you
wank
can go
Peter,
even
dude.
farther
That's
than that.
weird.
Peter has been shown to transcend to the 6th dimension in one scene. So this is consistent. At one point he even transcended fiction itself, coming into the real world. He was on drugs, but still, he transcended fiction.
Still happen. Okay.
Plus, he has self-sustenance. He can breathe in space and survive in there.
Something
There's
Goku
also
can't.
Season 2, Episode 6,
No shit, no
where
shit,
Peter
no shit.
becomes Death for a bit. In this episode, he gets all of Death's powers for a bit, which includes Peter becoming immortal and having the ability to control Death for others. Death in Family Guy can kill people by just coming in contact with them. However, this wasn't a cutaway gag or anything where it's just Peter doing something on his own, because in all those other gags that I've mentioned, that is just flat out Peter's power, or someone else's power upscaling him. We won't count this one because this is specifically a scenario where someone gives their power to Peter. Otherwise, Peter would be immortal in this fight and he could kill Goku with a single touch. Now for speed. Speed is
Yeah,
interesting
faster, bro.
because, of course, Peter, Brian, Stewie, and Adam West can move outside of time. A lot of people assume moving in a timeless void means that you have immeasurable speed, but that's not the case. This also applies for Goku too because he did the exact same thing in Trunks' timeline, as well as the World of Void, which doesn't have time. If we give it to one of them, we give it to the other.
Okay.
But in my eyes, saying this counts as some high-level speed feat is inaccurate. Speed is simply distance over time, and if the time is undefined, then you can't actually calculate the speed. You have an incomplete formula. In the Tournament of Power, there are many people in the World of Void able to move around.
Okay.
So, by the logic that moving in the
What
timeless
about Peter
void
would
means
do in the
your
Tournament of
immeasurable
Power
speed,
for real, though?
that would mean weaker characters like Roshi, Tien, Krillin, Shin, and Elder Kai are also immeasurable speed. That
Okay.
wouldn't just apply to Goku, that would apply to literally everyone in the Tournament of Power. So we won't be using that here for Peter or for Goku. We want something more concrete. So let's look at Meg. She's been shown to be as fast as Days of Future Past Quicksilver.
I remember that scene.
And
That
on
was
many,
great.
many occasions, Peter has been shown to be above her and even catch her off guard and do things like shove her face into his ass and fart.
That
Again,
is
just
a-
like with the Superman
That's
feat
a
I
wild
mentioned,
statement to
this
have
is
in a
also
YouTube
going
video,
back to a
but
completely
okay.
separate franchise, so I won't guarantee that I'm going to be perfectly accurate with this scaling. But based on that one scene of Quicksilver saving everyone from the mansion, he could be anywhere from massively hypersonic to a fraction of light speed. So for a low ball of speed, Meg would be massively hypersonic, and at a high ball, she's sub-relativistic at around 1% the speed of light. Peter is faster than her reactions, so wherever she is, doubling that seems fair.
Okay.
Peter's reactions and combat speed exceed hers. So what about some other abilities Peter has? He could stop time, and
Really?
he could also rewind time. I'm not
What?
talking about cutaways either. This is something he's actually done on multiple occasions,
When did
at
he
least
do?
for the form.
Oh shit. Okay.
But as for cutaways themselves, this is an interesting one
When did he
because
reverse
he
time,
can
though?
actually warp reality with cutaways. Remember at the beginning of the video I said we wouldn't just say he could use Toon Force nonsense? Well, this isn't hypothetical nonsense. There's a
He
whole
literally
episode
does it,
explaining
yeah.
how cutaways work and how they manipulate everything that happens in Peter's life.
I remember
Season
that
19,
one.
Episode 4,
Because he
Cutaway
said,
Land. It
remember
involves
that time
Lois
we
and
were
Peter
not here
accidentally
yet.
trapping themselves in a cutaway and trying to get out. Multiple times in the show, characters have been shown to be aware of the cutaways and how to control them. But this sets up the mechanic.
This is worse than that time I was watching a salad bar video. I don't know. I'm done.
Peter has crazy regeneration too, as he survived many fatal injuries, and he's essentially immortal.
Yeah.
He can clone himself too, including making evil clones. Here's some art of Retep Black that I made. In case you don't know,
Oh, he
Retep
made
is an
that? I've
evil
seen
clone of
that
Peter
before.
regenerated from one of his
I'm talking about
dismembered
before
heads.
earlier in the video.
Peter
I've seen
can
that
also
before.
teleport himself and others, usually through cutaways. Plus, Peter's also had the ability of other characters too. There was one cutaway where he acted as Deadpool, so he'd have all of Deadpool's abilities. He also was Superman at one point, the Super Friends version, once more putting him at planetary level. Plus, he would have all the abilities of this Superman. And this also upscales Peter even further because this Superman can move way faster than the speed of light. Maybe
Really?
him being planetary level is not that impressive, but if Peter actually has all the powers of this Superman, he has the speed of this Superman too, which is insane. This is way above where we placed him with Meg's feat. This Superman can fly through solar systems within seconds. He's traveled to faraway planets as well. And to make things even crazier, he's flown through time. So before when I was saying moving in a timeless void isn't immeasurable speed, well, that was just for that one. This feat could actually be considered that. So we could upscale Peter even further.
Okay.
Massively faster than light, if not immeasurable. But now to his worst stats, his intelligence.
Yeah.
Peter's not smart.
Not at
He's
all.
legally considered mentally handicapped. Call Goku dumb all you want, but he's not consistently unintelligent to this extent. He's also a combat genius, so there's that. Now to actually compare the two of them, we'll start with a really low ball Peter, assuming he's planetary and massively hypersonic.
Okay.
In this case, he's basically outsped by Goku around the 22nd World Tournament, but Goku wouldn't have the power to kill him until around the Saiyan Saga. So using a canon Goku, A good matchup would be Vegeta Saga Goku versus Peter. That Goku would far outspeed Peter.
And
now
this is
a more
before,
mid-ball estimate.
this is before he gets the
universal
Superman
and he's
powers?
relativistic. He gets outsped by Goku really early on still.
Alright.
But at the same time, Canon Goku can't do shit to him until later on. Again, using Canon Goku, this would mean he'd make it up to around Battle of Gods Goku.
Damn.
I specify Canon Goku because Toei Goku, with all the anime filler, he's way different and way stronger. When Goku becomes a Super Saiyan God, he has a huge jump in power, which would place him way beyond this mid-ball.
I say so.
The same applies to GT Goku. So Buu Saga Goku would outspeed him, but he'd overpower that
But he
Goku.
can't hit him that
and
hard,
if we go
yeah.
beyond the Meg feat and use the fact that he had Superman speed, that would mean Peter can't actually keep up here, when we say he's massively faster than light. But still, at only universal level, after the Buu Saga he has trouble, just based on his pure physical stats alone. But now the real question.
Peter claps
what
though,
about
bro.
a highball Peter?
Okay.
What is his absolute limit? Which Goku can he fight? Well, with a really highball Peter, he has immeasurable speed, with power anywhere from multiverse level to low complex multiverse level, depending on how you want to define family.
So you have to fight fucking Xeno Goku
so,
then,
using
huh?
a highball, let's go with the higher estimate, which is reasonable considering the fact Peter transcends the 6D, and even 7D at one point. This version of Peter would absolutely dog-walk Canon Goku. It's not that Canon Goku's weak, Peter is
It's
just,
just
at a
that
higher
he's that
dimensionality,
strong.
he's just
Yeah,
that
he has to
strong,
get Xeno Goku,
utilizing
right?
his highball at least. Plus, he can make use of a multitude of other powers, such as cutaway gags or stopping time to help himself. However, if we
Bro,
start to
can
put him
Zerator
up
do the
against
fuck
people
out
like
of
Xeno
Goku?
Goku or Capsule Corp Goku, Peter's gonna have an issue because, yeah, they are actually that strong.
Okay.
Those two Gokus would give Peter a really interesting fight, especially with the multitude of abilities he has. And against Highball Peter, their intelligence would definitely be a deciding factor here.
Okay.
And depending on how far you want to push the two of them, they probably even could outpace Peter in terms of power and speed.
Really?
Although if he transcends fiction, then Peter just wins there by
I was
doing
gonna
that.
say, unless there's
Let me know
like
what you
a
think
Jump
below.
Force.
Again, I know this
Unless
is
it's like
not
a
really
Jump
grounded
Force version
video,
of him, maybe,
and
I
we're
don't know.
purposefully highballing Peter, because like my other videos, I tend to highball whoever I'm focusing on, just to see what they're truly capable of. Discuss in the comments below, but keep it civil though, I know how power scaling gets.
Okay.
Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.
Nah, bro, Peter claps, bro. Don't like, what the fuck? Usually we say he ain't beating Goku, but he beating the fuck out of Goku, man. Y'all like and subscribe. Have a good one. Go subscribe to. Oh, link in the bio, by the way. Well, link in the description. I said bio. This is an Instagram. Link in the description for the video. Join the Discord. Go watch his video too because I love salad. Y'all have a good one, man.